Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you're watching, wherever you're watching, however you're listening, where you're listening. It's the Bet Online Salute Detroit podcast, and the tripod is back. The bearded bandits are here. I got thrown off because I looked at you guys' beard before I did it, and Ryan cut his off, Jamal shaved. I'm the only one staying strong. This right here, folks, is a lack of commitment out of these two. I thought we had something going. Coach.
Fighting the power.
I thought we had something going. It's just a lack of commitment. But
I got a pretty lush goatee, just because I don't.
Yeah, the goatee is pretty good. I mean, yeah,
not like going bald here.
We need our followers to start like pushing like beard products so we can sponsor them. Then hopefully Jamal could get him a beard then.
I've actually never seen Rye without the facial hair.
Without the goatee?
I don't think I have
the goatee.
I don't think I haven't had a goatee since like sophomore year in college.
Oh my God. Well, okay, right. Before we jump into anything, what will it take in terms of a football outcome this season for you to shave off the goatee?
I don't think it'd take much because it grow back fast. I'll lose like 10 years. I'll look like I'm 22, like a baby.
Amazing. What would it take? Not much. So you give me a scenario where our viewers could perhaps see beautiful Ryan Dyrud and his whole face. Well,
you guys got to think of something. I'm not going to think of something that makes me shave my face. So
okay, let's put it this way. I think if USC starts 3-0, if they beat LSU and Michigan, you're clean shaven.
Who do they play week 4?
No, I'm saying 3-0. 3-0.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking where I got to be week 4 if I'm going to be clean shaven.
Week 4, I think
week 4 is Wisconsin, right? It's the Grinch game.
Wisconsin at home.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. 3-0. I'll shave it.
Okay. 3-0. You heard it here first. If it's 3-0, I mean, look, Utah State, that's a gimme. That's a layup. So it's LSU, Michigan wins, 2 victories. Mr. Dyrud, the goatee says,
full clean or keep
Arrivederci. Arrivederci.
Or do I keep the stash?
No, you're going all out.
All right, I got a counter bet.
Okay.
So what do we have to do for you, Jamal?
Yeah.
For you to go no shave November. What's have to happen?
No shave November.
Yeah.
Wow. No shave November with a baby, Fred. Like that, it's the price is gonna be high. Okay, let me tell you that much.
The baby will help you, trust me. The baby will help you no shave November.
I will let me say this. If USC's undefeated at the end of October, I'll go no shave November.
All right.
I don't know if that's an attainable goal.
No, man. I mean,
that's fair. That's fair. That's a pretty big thing for Jamal to go no shave. Yeah. So, real quick, funny beard story. When I first started growing facial hair, like at 17, 18, or my freshman year in college, it was still, as you can tell, I'm like blonde, so it was very light. And I worked at a restaurant, and one of my coworkers gave me. He's like, "Hey, just for fun, you should try this." Like, because I worked somewhere where everyone had mustaches. That was like the theme that all the servers and bartenders had. He's like, "You should like dye it." Gave me like Gesterman brown. It was brown, but I kept it on too long. So I had jet black, like Alfred Rowe black beard. It was like, I'll send a picture to you guys. It was like ridiculous looking as how dark black it was on my face.
Wow.
Yeah. Was this before the misses or during the misses?
Oh, this was like, I was 18 years old. So way before.
Okay. I got you.
I was a baby still.
Good deal. Well, apparently you guys are doing well.
Yeah, we're good.
Doing well. Thanks for asking, Coach. Albeit 4 minutes into the show,
So. We got into a tangent. And we started throwing bets around, so that works. But let's bring it in.
It's brought to you by BetOnline.ag. So yeah.
Let's check this out. Let's bring it in. We have two good things to talk about today. People, I'm on one of the early releases. Well, I have the trial, but tomorrow, NCAA Football 25 is back. I've been playing the trial all afternoon, and it is amazing. It is an amazing football game, and they did not change anything. I have a running back at USC right now, Road to Glory. When we're done here, I'm going back to the couch. I'm going to start my dynasty with UMass and try to win the national championship. So I just want to let you guys know.
With UMass?
Why UMass?
Because that's the whole point of Road to Glory. You start with a low team and you bring them up to dynasty.
No, for sure. But why UMass? Yeah. You know someone there? Like I would do like Colorado State or something. Like
but Colorado State is a decent football team. UMass is just bad.
Yeah. You got to go like UC Davis,
They don't have UC Davis on there. It's all FBS teams.
Okay.
So UMass is the worst of the worst. So I'm going to bring UMass
so just the worst. Okay, that's why.
Yeah. I'm going to bring them to the national championship glory.
The Minutemen, right?
Yep. the second good thing is Tanook rang the bell. He's not officially a Trojan. I'm sorry. Tanook has committed to the University of Southern California, the 6'1", 185 pound receiver out of Texas. That's really big. I'm excited. It's been kind of, when these guys say they're going to commit, it's been kind of weary. Like, is it going to be a yes? Is it going to be a no? But this time the crystal ball was right. It had the interlock SC. He decided to come. Another one into the room for 2025. We'll throw it around the room, get some thoughts. Ryan, what do you think about his nickname is Nunu. I'm not going to call another dude Nunu. So I'm going to stick with Tanook until we find a good nickname for him. Ryan, what do you think about Tanook?
It sounds good rolling off your tongue, though. Nunu.
No, I can't do that.
We'll just go with Tanook and ladder, like we said. So
there we go.
No, great. No, I don't think we got to. At least I don't have to add too much. We talked about what he could bring to this team. So it's great that they got him to the. I guess this is like the starting line, not the finish line. I guess they got him to the starting line now. He's verbally committed, and so now it's about keeping him. As we mentioned, 3 receivers. So I'm really curious if, and this maybe we can talk this more than necessarily just Tanook, but if they're done adding receivers. Typically, I would say 3 to a class is plenty, not adding more. But remember, the 24 class only had 1. So I wonder if they will even add more, if they'll be done there. Obviously, they got to have a lot of defensive players. That's like the big focus. But yeah, overall, great ad. We talked about him. Twitchy, burner speed. What'd you say his numbers were? Like a 10-2, 500?
Yeah, he ran a 10-2, yes. 10-2.
Yeah, 100. He placed silver medal in Texas 6A track and field. So,
and he ran a 20.7 200.
Yeah, so anytime crazy. You can add that speed and with his versatility and with his route running, and he has a whole another year of high school to play, so can obviously put some weight on as well. And as Jamal kind of said, he's that prototypical size when you think of, CeeDee Lamb obviously is a little bigger now in the pros, but when you think of Hollywood Brown at Oklahoma, like these are the type of receivers that really run well in this offense. And you pair him with Corey Sims and Romero Eisen, and you got 3 really, really good incoming freshmen. So to add to an already loaded young room, I mean, this room's going to be good this year. You picture going into 2025 with, the third year guys that we've all talked about with Zachariah Branch and Deuce and all the Jacoby Lanes. And then you add, Jordan from the 24 class, and now you add these 3 from the 25 class. If they get them across the finish line, I mean, they're stacking. Definitely quarterback and receiver, the positions we don't got to worry about. The rest we do need to still figure out, but good stuff here from Tanook.
O-line either. We don't have to worry about O-line. They're stacked there also. They're doing a good job.
Doing a good job there too, yeah.
Jamal, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, not too much more to add. I mean, I think Ryan said it best, and we talked about it the last show. I think, again, he's that ideal sort of weapon in the Lincoln Riley air raid, like we talked about. And I think, Ryan, to your point, it's really a great question. My sense is that Riley likes to be kind of 8 deep at receiver at all times, and you're going to play kind of 4 or 5 in your core rotation, and it takes 8 to figure out who those 5 are, and then you're okay with 3 guys going in the portal and kind of rotating out. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more at the wide receiver position, just given kind of turnover and year over year and always wanting to kind of be 8 deep, I would think. But definitely a terrific get. And let's hope this is sort of the start of some really nice momentum. But always nice to beat out Notre Dame. Always nice to, sort of bring one in the books here. And look, again, quarterback and wide receiver is the position you're least worried about at all times with the Lincoln Riley team, whether that's in California, whether that's in Texas, whether that's anywhere in the country. So glad that they were able to bring this one in. And it's sort of ironic now that it all sort of begins. The journey begins now. It's sort of, all this is sort of granted you as the pole position to sort of win the race in December. That's what modern recruiting has become. But I think given who Lincoln Riley is, Hines should be a Trojan for the foreseeable future.
The funny part about it is I was talking to my buddy yesterday from he coaches at Louisiana Tech, and they just recruited for Louisiana Tech. They got a big recruit. He was like a 4-star out of I think DeSoto, Duncanville, a 4-star out of Duncanville. And he said the head coach was all excited. He said, "Hey man, we got a long way to go. Like, we just got him to say he's coming here. The job's just started." So I mean, that's how it is in today's world. You gotta Well, it's always been like that, though. You always got, even though they're committed, doesn't mean that they necessarily mean anything until you get the paper signed. So unless it's in ink, that's all. I wonder if they do DocuSigns now for NLIs. I'm gonna ask that question. If they just do DocuSign instead of those schools sign and fax it in.
Probably. I mean, it's. I think that's probably the way to go. When was the last time, Coach, you used the fax machine?
Man, a while. Even when I was coaching, all they did was sign it and took a picture with their phone and emailed it to us.
Coach, I got to ask a question. This has been, I was hanging out with Ash last week, and he noticed this, and I had never noticed this before. So tell me, what is the significance of the empty Coliseum in the background?
I just like the picture of the Coliseum. Yeah. That's I actually stole both of them from Ryan. So I like this one, and the other one is like down on the field, and I stole that one from Ryan too. I just like I just like the Coliseum, just the fact
because you're sort of one with your thoughts at that point. Yeah. Because if it's crowded, you're not one with your thoughts.
Yeah, I took that picture.
Yeah, I think
you took that picture.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it's a pregame, so that's why.
Yeah, I was about to say this looks like pregame because they're in pads.
Love it.
Let me see. Yeah, they're all warming up.
Yeah,
see the kickers? Yeah. So definitely.
Yeah.
I just
what
like
game?
it.
Do we remember the game?
I don't. I can't tell you all that. You're getting way too deep now. And the other one, Ryan took the other one too. I guess it was after a game. He got it like perfect timing and just took it from the corner. I stole that one too. So they're both stolen from Ryan, him at the stadium.
For everyone to use. So it's not stolen.
Yeah. There you go. So that's all it is. I just like the pictures.
I love
really good pictures.
It was just a fun question.
Yeah. Speaking of, tell Ash stop being so negative. Why does that have to be empty? How come it just can't be a stadium shot? Stop being negative, Ash. You seem like an upbeat person. Where did all this negativity come from? Speaking of negativity, our boy has fired another shot at our head coach. And the crazy part about it is that it was at SEC Media Day. Like, you're sitting in the hallway of the hotel at SEC Media Day, and Paul Finebaum decided to talk about Lincoln Riley again. And you know what? One of the things he was said, too, because I saw it on our boy USC Jay's Twitter, he said that Lincoln Riley ran away from the SEC. I'm tired of that narrative. And I'm a down this hill, and I heard it from multiple sources that he did not run away from the SEC. He was not happy with Oklahoma because there's Bob Stoops' influence. Bob Stoops had too much say on Lincoln Riley's future and on his team. I've talked to at least 4 or 5 people who knew about this situation. It's not the conference. I don't think the conference matters to him. I just think that he wanted to be somewhere. And that's one of the things that Jamal, you always talk about, where he says he wants to have a say and there's things that was promised. He has a whole list of things that was promised by SC. And do you think he just came up with that list of promises for no reason? No, he wasn't really happy at Oklahoma. So he went somewhere where it's his own. And we're looking at the growing pains. Now, for him to say he should, if I was the AD, I will fire him. Why would you fire him? Who are you going to hire, and where are you going to pay the other 70? Where are you going to get the other $70 million from to get his payout? For you to say he won't end up a coach in the NFL, he'll end up in the NFL the next day because he is a good quarterback coach. Any system you put him in, he could coach quarterbacks to be very good, and he's done that multiple times and is proven. On top of that, why is Cliff always employed? You know what I mean? They come from the same system. Cliff always is employed, and Cliff wasn't as good as a head coach as Lincoln Riley, and Cliff constantly gets a job. So, like, come on. Like, Paul, you have to stop. Like, you're getting weird now, dude. Like, that's what all I'm going to say is, like, you're really getting weird with your obsession of Lincoln Riley. I don't know what it is. I don't know why you have it, but you have to stop. This is our cry from the Trojan land. Please stop obsessing over Lincoln Riley. It's not attractive. I mean, I guess it's good TV, or it's like my man JJ Redick said, engagement farming. He has us talking about it, but it's just like, it's starting to get weird to me. In my situation, for me, it's starting to get weird. I don't know why I keep saying it. And you're at a whole different conference media day. That's the craziest part too. Like, it seemed like he rushed. He was like, ooh, I got something to say about Lincoln Riley. Put me on TV. And he got his word. So it is what it is. Jamal, what do you have to say about our man, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about our man, but it's
Coach, hey, you texted me like your guy, Ryan. I mean, what are you? Don't
me in that. I mean, it's Ryan's guy, not my guy.
Yeah,
but no, I think, Coach, you said it well. You have to wonder at this point whether there's it's personal. I mean, there's some vendetta. There's some true axe to grind here. Because this is just venturing beyond the bizarre. I mean, in terms of sort of going out of your way to sort of talk about Lincoln Riley. And the craziest part here is, as you mentioned, I mean, this is SEC Media Day. Like, look at the endless storylines there are to talk about on this day. I mean, Alabama is literally replacing the GOAT, the greatest coach in the history of college football. How is Calen DeBoer doing his first few months on the job, stepping into those gigantic shoes? Where's Kirby's head after back-to-back national championships and then it feels like they got snubbed last year? Where are they? Are they ready to reload, come back, win a third in 4 years? Where's their mindset? You talk about Brian Kelly, I mean, having to replace the Heisman Trophy winner, and how he's looking at in terms of overhauling not only his offense, but also his defense. LSU being such a mirror image of USC. You talk about Texas A&M, all the NIL they have. Or is this real money, or is this kind of fake money of 2 years ago? You can sort of get into that and have those discussions. Is this the year Lane breaks through and perhaps wins the national championship? How are some of these secondary schools going to do, like Missouri, like Tennessee, like Florida? What's Florida's NIL situation after the crazy amounts of money that they were offering individual players? I mean, you can just go in so many different directions here with SEC Media Day, and you have stories for days and weeks and months, and yet Paul Finebaum chooses to talk about Lincoln Riley. I mean, it's like, it's insane. I don't understand it. And sometimes, I mean, it's either something super personal, or he's just sort of a politician that's playing to his base. And there's the base that believes that the SEC is the the ruler of the college football universe. And how dare anyone not want to go to the SEC? And truth or untruth, Coach, and we, I think, believe that it's untruth. But there's this narrative out there that the moment he found out that OU was going to SEC, that's when he started his job search and wanted to quote unquote run away. And he's just sort of playing to that base and playing to that narrative when it has nothing to do with where he is, the teams he's around, the content of that day. It's insane. I mean, and Coach, in the offseason, you had mentioned to one other social media personality, I won't say who, but you had said, hey, man, it's getting weird, and now you're using it for Paul Finebaum because it's so appropriate. I mean, it's one thing, Coach, for us, as we've talked about, to be critical of Lincoln from time to time, and he's sort of warranted it. And we've all said, look, after next year, you have a whole body of work to really make an assessment. But to say things like, I would have fired him after year 2, after he was one game from the college football playoff in year 1, to say that it was the worst coaching job he's ever seen, to say that he's going to be lucky after this year to have any sort of an assistant coaching job in the NFL. It's so far ridiculous. It's so outlandish that you really just wonder, what's really going on there? I mean, are you that desperate for content, or is there really an axe to grind? And I wonder even about the desperation for content and the quote unquote engagement farming and whatnot, just because there's so much to talk about in the SEC. Like, his show is going to be sort of sold out for weeks at a time with all of those storylines, yet he's going back on Lincoln. It's unbelievable. And I think for USC fans, it's sort of flattering because SC fans love to sort of be hated. They love to be in the news. They love to be sort of the center of attention, even when they're not there. So in that regard, it feels good, but it's sort of bizarre. And this is going to kind of continue, it feels like, over the course of the season.
What's the crazy part is that there's 2 new teams in the conference at that media day, and he chose not to talk about.
There you go. 2 new, one of whom was, in the college football playoff last year, and I mean, it's insane. What's going on here with Paul Finebaum?
He also went off on Deion. I couldn't find out what he said about Deion, but he also went off on Deion. Ryan, what do you have to say about Paul Finebaum?
Yeah, he probably could have started with just talking about Billy Napier not having a winning season yet at Florida. If he wanted to talk about bad coaching jobs, I mean, as bad as SC was last year, they won 3 more games than Florida did. So, no, the only thing, because I won't add much, did you guys, I doubt it, but did you guys happen to see like the entire, not just that clip, but the entire segment?
No.
On ESPN?
I saw the 3 minutes. I didn't see more than that.
Yeah, I did same thing. I saw the clip, and what I'm curious, because I mean, we all know these shows they're produced shows. Like they have their outline, their plan. Like, why did that? I think it was First Take. Like, why on First Take did they say we're going to have Finebaum on and we're going to talk about USC at SC Media Day? Like, obviously they know a reason why they're doing it, and whether it was not collusion's not the right word, but whether it was planned with Finebaum or whatnot. Like, that's where it's like, okay, clearly they know what they're doing. They know what kind of reaction they're going to get. They planned this out. This wasn't on like a random podcast. This was ESPN doing a segment. They asked the question. The graphic on the screen said USC Lincoln Riley. So it was planned that they did that. And so clearly they were playing into, they have the TV rights for SEC. They're playing into that audience that obviously the audience doesn't like USC. Finebaum doesn't like USC. What I also thought was funny is our guy, Daniel, who does a lot of our social stuff on the USC page, literally found the clip from 2 years ago. It's posted on USC_LAFB of Finebaum after Lincoln Riley went to SC, calling it the greatest hire he has seen in some time. It was a home run, slam dunk. It was best for Lincoln Riley to go to USC where he could have everything he needed out in Southern California. He predicted them to win a national championship with Lincoln Riley. I get last year was bad, but you can't, after just 2 years of play, 1 year having a Heisman Trophy winner and 11 wins, all of a sudden saying the guy is unemployable and the worst coach I've ever seen. So it's just playing into a narrative. That's all it is.
All I'm gonna say is that in modern lifetime, I can't say overall, but the games that I do know, Sam Bam went down to Tuscaloosa. Alabama came here. SC beat them. Pete Carroll took his team down to Auburn. Auburn came here. Pete Carroll beat them. He also took them to Fayetteville with probably the best Arkansas team in a long time. Beat them twice. Now SC is playing LSU. I don't know the record off the top of my head. I'm not going to throw a record out there. But if USC beats LSU, what does Paul Finebaum say? Like, what is his reaction to the game? Even if SC loses by 3 in the last second on a field goal, what is Paul Finebaum's reaction to the game? Because they're equally matched teams. It's not like LSU's way better. Well, people will say LSU's way better because they're in the SEC. It's time for the SEC fans to like really step into reality. The SEC is top heavy with 2 teams, right? Alabama and Georgia. Then they're good with maybe 2 more teams, Ole Miss and what was it, Tennessee this year, I believe, or something like that.
And now Texas.
And yeah, now Texas, but we have to wait and see what Texas does, right? Because Texas, I think they lost 4 or 5 last year, if I'm not mistaken. No, Texas was pretty good. I apologize. Never mind. Sorry, I recant that. But Oklahoma lost a bit, but it's like they get so caught up in like, we're the best conference, but you're top heavy. How's Vanderbilt? How's Kentucky? Right? How's South Carolina? How's Missouri in reality? What is Texas A&M for real? Right? Let's just go through what is Mississippi
Florida.
State? What is Florida? Right? And then you take a deeper look. Paul Finebaum is attacking Lincoln Riley from running to the SEC. There's a big article. There's big news running around. And we talked about it a little bit. We ended our show with it. And I thought it was a rumor, but this is legit happening. Why is Clemson and Florida State ducking the SEC? That's something you could have talked about, but you chose to skip all the way over to the opposite coast, 2 time zones away, and talk about how bad Lincoln Riley is, right? Lincoln Riley is primed to be good this year. Right. And I said this, I think it was the show that me and Jamal was on. I think you were yogging Ryan. But I said that this year,
What's the world come to? I mean, Ryan's jogging. I mean, my God,
one day a week.
That's the bigger story today, frankly. Right? I mean, even more than Paul Finebaum is Ryan Dairu's jogging. I mean, alert the press.
Yeah, but then we know what this year's set up for, and the fans are expecting. SC fans are expecting, national championship desires. This isn't the year. To be honest with you. Sitting on it from the coach's side, he's building his team now, right? And I actually thought about this today in traffic. The first year he had Caleb Williams, got lucky. He quickly built the roster, put it together. They were overachievers. Last year, he tried to throw something together with the same strategy. It didn't work. Now he's building something, right? He has good offensive linemen. He has good receivers. He's getting good running backs. He's built the defense. But when he went to the portal for the defense, he didn't go to the portal and get one-year guys. He got very few one-year guys, and he got guys who have to be ingrained and have extra eligibility left that could come back and play. This year's not the year. Next year's not the year, right? Now, 2027, we better see something very, very exquisite, right? And then we're going to get – I know what you're going to say, Jamal. He's getting paid $10 million. We got to get a guy who's got to pay premium prices. Other than that, what do we pay him? The fans are going to say, well, you're unrealistic. I'm being realistic. He's building a team, and we want it in McDonald's time. You're not going to build a team in McDonald's time, right? And unfortunately, the window for most successful coaches, and I'm going to take this stat from Jamal, is within 3 years. I think that 3-year thing is a little bit skewed now because of the way that the college landscape of football is. Right? But neither here nor there. Florida State ducked the SEC. I don't think the SEC is as good. I never thought it was as good as everybody says because when you look at the bottom of the conference, there's 6-win teams. We have to start being realistic and take the big networks out and really look at things. Paul, you're an idiot. Your conference is highly overrated. Your conference is like Oregon. They are overachieved. They're overachieved losers. Alabama and Georgia are the exception. Everybody else are just okay. They're okay. They're a very good college football team. How does that make your conference so much better than us? It doesn't, Paul. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it really doesn't. You guys could go ahead and take it from here. I don't know who to go to, Ryan or Jamal. Any of you guys could toss it up.
Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, no, two things, Coach. I mean, I agree. So there's two elements of what I'd like to share. One is, yes and no. I think on the SEC, that do they get more hype than their share? Yes, but I think if you look at college football the last 20 years, outside of Clemson for 2, and Ohio State for 1, and Florida State for 1. The SEC's won every national championship, right? So 16 of the last 20, 15 of the last 19 has gone to the SEC. So
Ohio State won 1.
I said Ohio State won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so in that regard, they have won every national championship. Coach, to that question of
I don't mean to cut you off real quick. Just this tidbit though. Did the SEC win or did Alabama and Georgia win those national championships?
Well, LSU's won multiple. Florida's won multiple. Auburn's won one. In that regard, think about it, Coach, right? And I'm just kind of keeping it real here is LSU, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Georgia have all won national championships more recently than USC. That's not my opinion. That's a fact, right? So when we're saying that, they're just top heavy and there aren't other schools, some of those other schools may be down right now, but a lot of those schools were at the very top of the sport over the last 15 or 20 years. But I think that's neither here nor there. That's not the point of what I want to make. I think the key here is Finebaum keeps going back to this Lincoln Riley point because it seems to get a lot of traction. And why is it? I think the question is, why is this getting so much traction from folks around the country? Why is this such a lightning rod, right? You have to sort of ask that question. He's not going to say it. He's not going to bring it up if it's not going to get him eyeballs. Why are the eyeballs coming on this particular issue? And, Coach, I kind of have a theory. And my theory is Lincoln is kind of like 2010 LeBron. Like, you remember when LeBron went from Cleveland to Miami? And what was the first thing that he said? Remember, they had the whole parade.
Taking my talents to
South Beach. And then the next night, remember, they had the whole parade, and they were like, not 1, not 2, not 3. He went all the way to not 7. Okay, so he went all the way to not. So he set that expectation that I'm coming and we're creating a dynasty. It's going to be easy, done deal. What did Lincoln say when he got here? He's like, we're going to become the Mecca of college football, right? And so look at what LeBron was after 2010, the most hated player in the NBA. The guy went from one of the most likable to the most hated overnight. And in a lot of ways, USC's 2023 season, there's a lot of parallels to the Miami Heat 2011 season when they got all the way to the finals and then they sort of choked, right? And LeBron choked in the finals against Dallas. That's kind of how 2023 felt, for USC, where, you had this momentum year one and then it just all fell. You had the Heisman Trophy winner coming back and it just all fell apart, in 2023. What was the perception of LeBron that summer of 2011, Coach? I mean, he was the butt of all jokes. I mean, I remember when he was the late night TV shows would call him 75 cents. He was LeBron 75 cents James because he never got the fourth quarter, and so the lightning rod that he was back then is kind of similar to the lightning rod that Lincoln Riley is right now because of the big statement in terms of the arrival. And how did LeBron sort of erase that narrative? He won multiple championships in Miami, then went to Cleveland, won another one. And, now he's regarded as one of the true all-time greats of the game. So I think for Lincoln, this is going to continue to be a story until he wins. And I think Finebaum's going to be able to go down to that well time and again, week over week, month over month. They could, SC could beat LSU, come back, lose to Michigan, go 9-3. Finebaum's still going to sort of play his drum, and people are going to soak it up. Because I think until Lincoln wins that national championship, I think he's going to be a lightning rod because of how he showed up. There was a lot of bravado. LA loved it because LA is sort of a city of bravado, but I think the rest of the country was really put off by it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. This is sort of my theory of how it was received, much in the way LeBron came with all this bravado like it was going to be easy. LeBron became the natural villain in the NBA in the 2010s, the early part of the 2010s. Lincoln Riley's becoming the natural villain of college football in the early 2020s.
Ryan, it's your turn.
No, I don't think I got much to add. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think it's easy to, like, all of us live in LA. Like, we've traveled, right? Like, it's easy to, and I'm not saying even like I don't want to say like pure hatred, but like a fun rival hate. Like, people just don't like people from LA when you travel. Like, I worked with NASCAR for a year, and every race I went to, I started telling people I was from Colorado. Because when I'd say LA, every circuit I was on was like, they did not like me because I was from LA. It's just easy to hate us because you ain't us, right? And that's the whole thing. So everything Jamal said, plus just being LA and USC.
It's not our fault we have good weather.
we pay for it.
Yeah, we do pay for it. But no, I mean, yeah. I was going to say something, but I forgot. I had a good rebuttal to that. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. It's kind of happening with the Dodgers right now, though. But it's not. It's out of the Dodgers' control, I guess you could say, because they caught the injury bug. But it was kind of like the Yankees, the 2090s Yankees. They were buying championships, and then when they fell short, it was like, oh, that's what happens when you spend money to buy championships. But in this, I guess in this era, you have to kind of buy a championship. But we'll see if it works, because Phil just cashed in all his retirement to see one before he goes. But
well, Coach, I mean, I think people dislike LA. To Ryan's point, I think it's spot on. I mean, personal experience. But I think there's something unique about USC, let's be honest, that is more hateable. Like I can't imagine, other schools. I mean, I'm the alma mater of two other schools in California. When I go to a sporting event or to something, I mean, it's never as close to sort of the level of like animosity that is when I go to a USC sporting event, donning USC gear. I think and Coach, we've sort of talked about this, about kind of the history and whatnot. Like, you close your eyes, you close your eyes and you're like, you think of a USC person. You just say USC. What's sort of one of the first few images that come to mind? I mean, to be honest with you, it's sort of a beautiful blonde girl from Newport Beach or some handsome guy living in Palos Verdes doing commercial real estate. There's this sort of image of USC as wealthy and sort of generational, perhaps a little entitled. There is that, rightfully or wrongfully, there is kind of that inner aura about it. That's sort of the persona. And people don't like that, and so it comes up in these little ways, whether it's a Paul Finebaum off a left field, showing his perhaps jealousy, his dislike for what USC is, perhaps in other walks and forms of life. But I think that's part of it. That's sort of the brand and the aura of USC. You when you close your eyes and you think USC, you don't really think underdog. You don't really think like social justice. You don't think like helping the world necessarily. There's a certain aura. You think Hollywood. You think really good-looking people. You think wealthy people. You think the intersection of sports and entertainment. You think about kind of big, larger-than-life personalities. And I think, truth be told, Coach, that intimidates a lot of people. And I think that's where a lot of this animosity comes from.
And that goes back to Ryan saying, don't hate us because you ain't us.
Right.
Because if you really, it's one of those things, if you really get to know us, we are about social injustice. We are about helping a lot of people out. It was funny because like my dentist, her son's going to UCLA. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could come here anymore. Like, why? I was like, I thought you stood for quality. And she was like, well, UCLA gave a nice scholarship. I was like, did you even try for USC? And she was like, well, no, it's too expensive. I said, do you know how many people I went to school with that only had to pay for books? Like regular students had to pay for books. And she was like, I was like, they have such a big endowment, but you have to try. Like, I think USC, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jamal, but I think USC like gives a ton of scholarships out. They're like one of the top schools that gives a bunch of financial aid out. But everybody gets, like you said, they get so intimidated, like, oh, I can't afford it. Just try. And all
because it's that generational brand, right, Coach? Like they're trying to change the narrative here these last 10, 15 years, but like that perception has been baked in, right, for 50, 60, 70 years. I mean, it starts with John Wayne being the first great USC football player. I mean, like the birth of like Hollywood and sports was with John Wayne being on the USC football team. So when you think that, and it's all just really good looking people that want to be actors and actresses and come from money, it's intimidating, and I think USC kind of suffers from that sort of public perception of kind of being superior. And it's not. I mean, I think some of the most friendly people in the world are USC folks. They love their school. They love kind of helping each other and being very gregarious in that way. But it's a rough image. And then the other thing I'll say, Coach, is I don't think the university has done the football program any favors with the scandal upon scandal the last 15 years. Let's just be clear there. I mean, when the university itself is not doing things the right way and those stories kind of pick up and become national, it's hard. I mean, all of that contributes to the brand, right? Like so many great business people say, it's so hard to build a brand. It takes years to build a brand. And then, you can lose it in a second, right? You lose trust in a second. It takes years to build trust. And then it takes a second to lose it. I think that's also sort of hurt the perception of the kind of the football program and the alumni in a negative way with what's happened the last 10 years.
Well, it took Lucha Troy less than a year to build a brand. So how about that? Yeah. Ryan, what was you going to say?
Oh, I don't remember. We can move on. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
No, that's all we have.
Sorry, Rye. I think I cut you off.
No. All good.
Yeah, all I had is Paul Finebaum. It looks like we got a good tight one wrapped up. Put a little bow on it and kiss it goodbye. Hopefully, actually, I kind of want this year to go unexpected. And we go all the way to the national championship.
Well, I hope so.
Well,
I kind of want that.
I'm more of a
last episode. You saying you kind of wish we didn't have any scandals.
I kind of do wish we didn't have any scandals, but it is what it is.
I hope you really do.
But I mean, you don't know where it's going to go. So like, there's so many things you can't control. But the thing is, I'm saying like, because of that, I want to see Paul Finebaum. I wonder what he has to say because the game's on ABC. So Paul Finebaum is going to be all over it. If they're playing an SEC school in the national championship, And then like, well, what about Lincoln? Lincoln has done a great job in what he's done, this and that. So I can't wait for that.
I mean, is there a better matchup than USC Oklahoma in the college football playoff? I mean,
no,
there can't be a better matchup than that, right?
Yeah.
No way.
No, I don't think so. I can't. No, I don't think so.
I think that would be the best of all of college football. Just based on storylines.
His
storylines
for sure.
I have no idea who's going to be
good.
No,
absolutely. I would say the only one that maybe comes close, it's not as good, but I think with all of this animosity with recruiting and taking back the way, like I think SC Oregon in the playoff would be a lot of fun.
That'd be good too. That'd be very good.
Well, Oregon will lose because what did I call them? They're overachieving losers. That's what I call them.
There you go. Hashtag sibling rivalry.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, it was like, what is your deal with this hate with Oregon? I had explained to him that my brother went to Oregon, so all it was a dislike Oregon. There's nothing I could say nice about them. I kind of feel the same way about Arizona State too, but like I tell my youngest brother, when they become relevant, you can enter the conversation. But
is that where your younger brother went?
My youngest brother went to Arizona State.
Youngest brother.
Yep, he went to Arizona State. So when they become relevant, he can enter the conversation. But until then, stay out. This is only for the big boys.
Ooh.
Definitely. Well, that's all we have. Fellas, I appreciate you. It was so fun. How about we do it again on Thursday?
We do it again.
How does that sound?
Deal.
We'll probably have some more
new
news.
ring I'm wearing for the pod, guys, right there. You see the ring right there? You see it right there?
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
It's like a letter stamper. Dip it in some.
There it is right there. Just dip it right there.
Bam. Bam.
Put in some wax and send it in the mail.
Yeah.
There you go. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate all you fans. Thank you guys for listening. It's the Bet Online Salute Story podcast. You guys know how it goes. Live free. Fight on.